We're going to call this compound inequalities. And compound inequalities come in two different flavors. They come in the form of and compound inequalities. And they come in the form of or inequalities. We've got and or. And if you think about this in English form, it really makes a lot of sense. Cameron, while you're over there, will you close that door? You know, what is the difference if I said Grace and Josh come here as opposed to Grace or Josh come here? What is the difference in those statements? Because it's the same with inequalities. Jaden?
And is both and or is one another.
Exactly. And the way this looks is like this. First of all, with an and inequality, there's two different forms or way that they show it. Here's one. It could look like this. Let's see, I don't like the one they gave me there. Find me a different and one. X is greater than -3 and x is less than 3. What if I asked you to give me a number that is greater than 3 and greater than -3 and less than +3? What would your choices be? I'll write the set. You don't have to write. Don't write this down. What would be your choices? Jaden, give me one. -2 could be a choice. Drew?
-1.
-1 could be a choice. Lainey?
0.
0. 1. 2. Could 3 be a choice? No, because 3 is not less than 3. Right? Now, we don't, when you have a compound inequality like this, we're not going to write down all the numbers. We are going to show the answer to it by doing a number line. And that number line goes from here, it goes from -3 to +3, but since it doesn't equal -3, if there's no equal sign under here, you make an open circle. And since there's no equal sign under there, you make an open circle. And all of the answers are everything that's in between there. So you end up with a line colored in between the two numbers. Because it has to, when it's and, it means both of them have to be true. When you get to or, that doesn't, it's one or the other. Okay? Now, here is where people go a little bit astray. Remember I said this has two different forms? You can either write it like this, or sometimes, and usually the case, they write this compound and inequality like this. They put x in the middle, you put your negative, your small number here, your big number there, and you always use less than signs. This and this are the same thing. When you read something like this, you read it like this. You start with x is greater than -3 and x is less than 3. Okay? That's how you'd say it. It's this written kind of shorthand form. So when you see another and one, let me just throw another one at you. Let's say my thing is like this. If I asked you to say this in words, you would say, Aubrey, now, when it's a compound, when you start with the x is greater than or equal to 8 and less than 15. It's not read left to right, you start with the x. X is greater than -3 and less than 3. X is greater than or equal to 8 and less than 15. And when you graph it on a number line, it looks like this. You have an 8, you have a 15. Because of the equal sign, it can equal 8, so you have to color in the dot on that one. No equal sign, so it's open, and you color in stuff in the middle. One more, and I think we have it solidified here. X, by the way, and it has to be, you can't have signs going the other way with the compound inequality with an and, otherwise it won't work, it's impossible to do it. Okay, it has to be the less than sign, has to be. Let's say 3. If I asked you to say that, you would say it is what, Elijah Fisher?
X is greater than 3 at less than or equal to 14.
And when you are graphing it, it is here at 3, there's a 14. Doesn't equal, so open, does equal, so closed, and you color in between. Now, let's say I switch the signs because I said I would. If I had it looking like this, you would have to tell me a number, listen to this, x has to be a number that is less than 3 but greater than 14. Tell me a number that's smaller than 3 but bigger than 14. Jenna Dervis? What number is smaller than 3 but bigger than 14, or and bigger than 14? It don't work that way. So they have to be, the signs have to be going this way. And you can't flip it. I mean, the only way it works is if you flip the numbers around, but you have to make some consistency here. So those are your and. Now the ors, there's no shortened way to do an or. It will actually have to put the word or in there. Okay, so that makes it really easy. And it'll say something like this, t is less than 40, or t is greater than, let's see what that puts there, t is greater than 100. Okay, t is less than 40 or t is greater than 100. That just looks like this. Because it's an or problem, either one of them can be true, they both don't have to be true. So here at 40, it's an open circle because it's not equal to it. Which way is the less than numbers going? This way. This is the t is less than 40, or t is greater than 100. Or problems shoot off in different directions. And problems come together, or problems go in opposite directions. Okay? Every time you see an or problem, it's going to have two circles, and the arrows are going to point going away from each other, and problems are going to converge. Another example of that might be t is less than 0. T is less than 0. Oh. Or t is greater than 5. Well, let's put an equal sign there just to make things fun. T is less than 0, so there's my 0. T is less than. T is greater than or equal to 5, so here's my 5. T is greater than, so it goes this way. Or problems shoot off in different directions. And problems come together, or shoot off in different directions. Does anybody seem like they have troubles or issues with that? Now, just because this seems to give us trouble, open your books. It always goes south at the word problems. Look at page 631, practice letter E. Practice letter E. Second verse. Everybody with me on letter E? Read it to yourself as I read it aloud. Letter E. A college will cancel a lab class if less than 12 students enroll. No more than 30 students can enroll in one lab class. Write an inequality that shows the number of students that could be in a lab class and illustrate this inequality on a number line. So what does that say? Is that an and or an or? Does it say that the student will run the class if the class is less than 12 or greater than 30? Or does it say they'll run the class if the class is between two numbers? Is it an or an and? the class has to be what? X has to be more than 12 students, right? But it has to be less than, how many? 30. Actually, you'd have to look at that and say, could it be equal to this? The way it's worded, could it be 12 students? Would it hold the class for 12 students? So it would be equal to. Would it hold the class if it was 30 students? So it would be equal to. Is that an and or an or? That's an and problem. How would I write it in one single thing here? X would be in the middle, 12 would be on the low side, 30 is on the high side. Always the less than sign. And graphing it would be between 12 and 30, colored in circle, across. Any of those numbers in there. The book actually puts dots in there. They go 12, 13, 14, 15, because you couldn't have 12 and a half students. There's no such thing as half, so they just put dots there, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Compound inequality. I can tell you're very excited about that. More than usual.